Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Taurus December 2023 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, clairvoyant. Well, this month we're going to use a great deck full of power, which has a sub-Saharan African theme, particularly relating to people in West Africa. So I suspect that people of an African heritage will have a good emotional response to this, but I suspect that you are going to have a great emotional response to this as well, because the artwork is really rather moving, I think. And I suspect that when we read it, we'll find the moving words to ensure that it does. And we'll look at it, as I say, in connection with the numerology, with the astrology, and with the mystical, cosmic energies which are floating around you this month. Now, of course, I've done a number of one-on-one clairvoyant readings for people from different parts of the world over the last month, over FaceTime and Skype. And of course, I charge for readings. At the end of the video, have a look at the description and you can see details that relate to that. Everybody has been very satisfied. Now, I also do healings. Now, readings I charge for. Healings are free. Now, the readings nominally go for an hour, but often they go for longer than an hour. Healings, well, I have to do the healings because the gift was provided to me. So do not feel embarrassed, ashamed, or reticent to approach me if you feel you would like healing relating to physical or emotional concerns that you might have, because you will definitely feel better afterwards. And it's true that miracles can happen. Now, of course, it comes through me and not from me. You would understand that. So don't be afraid to get hold of me. I set time aside each day to do the healings. Healings are free. It's a spiritual duty to perform them. Now, great to see the subscribers again, and you know we don't have any video ads breaking into this content, so you get to enjoy it in its entirety. Now, let's see what there is in store for you for this month with the astrology and the numerology. Let's see, there is the Rider. There is next. What's it going to be? Have a look here. There is Suspension. Look like a couple of major arcana cards, if I'm not mistaken. You'll see this in just a moment. Here we go. Here is the 10 of Blades. Here, there is what? Well, it's two have come out actually. So the first is the Ace of Gourds, and then the 10 of Gourds. Well, what a fascinating and wonderful month for love and success it looks like for you. So, why don't you, as is our usual practice, come and sit down here next to me. You and I will have a good close look at the paintings on these cards together while I do the reading for you. While I'm just picking up the energy of these cards, you know, sometimes I look at the small tarot channels, and I came across one recently called Ministry of Tarot. And maybe at the end of this video, you might want to check out Ministry of Tarot. It's performed by a lady whose style, of course, is very different to mine, as you would expect, but who nevertheless comes across to me as being authentic. Okay, I've got this now, and let's have a look at this. I'm going to deal with this 10 of Blades first. The reason being is because I think that this is here as something for you to bear in mind. It's not predictive of something that's coming in mind, but it's a reminder to you of the spiritual help which is always at your beck and ready to be called upon. Because remember, you are not going to die. You are going to go home like a shooting star. And this is asking you to remember that in life, you will from time to time hit rock bottom. I don't think it's going to be this month, though. And the impact of that fall, and you'll have known this in the past, it can knock the wind out of you, can't it? Well, no matter how dire the circumstances, even in bodily death, there is a place and there is a purpose for you. Now, there was another great spirit, it seems to me, as I recall, and the spirit continues to live on. And this person was an African man named Gordon, and he was also known as Whipped Peter. Now, he escaped from the plantation where he was enslaved, and he traveled by foot for 10 days and gained freedom once he reached the Union camp. This was in the Civil War in the United States, and that Union camp was in Baton Rouge, down in the south in Louisiana. Now, Gordon then joined the U.S. colored troops, a part of the Union Army, and fought in the Civil War. Now, I remember seeing photos of him and the brutal scars he received from beatings. And they were circulated at the time in a paper called Harper's Weekly, and it shed light on the inhumane treatment of those who had been enslaved and who were subjected to such indignity. Now, Gordon's memory and image is not only a testament to the horrors of slavery, but also to the dignity and poise he maintained despite what he had endured. And here we see the swords falling away, leaving him free to return to his highest glorified state. Now, just to go closer to it, so you can see it here, the astrology of this is that of the sun ruling the third decan of Gemini here in the center with these other cards around it. It's the 12th to the 20th of June. Now here the sun in Gemini is difficult, as Gemini disperses the energy of the sun, and it can disperse your force, and your focus can be entirely intellectual and be unstable. And I say unstable because this is a 10 and it's ready to go into the next suit here. But this card shows the destructive power of constant negative thinking. It is an image of insanity, a confused uproar of soulless mechanisms. Now, it does seem, doesn't it, from time to time that, and with the sun in Gemini, that even the last remains of joy in life, which is the sun, love for yourself and others, as well as existence, the heart, well, they threaten to fall prey to negative thoughts, don't they? And negativity disrupts and destroys the soul's striving towards harmony and balance. Do you know, the way to deal with negative thoughts is when you get the negative thought, you see, you're lying on the ground, if you like, and you are just receiving mortar fire or bombs coming in on top of you when the negative thought comes. And let's be fair, you can be harder on yourself probably than anybody else. Well, when the negative thought comes, see the negative thought and put two questions to it. The first question is this: what is the purpose of this thought? Secondly, how is this thought behaving? What is the purpose of this thought? How is this thought behaving? And when you do that, you'll find that you no longer are sitting on the bottom of the hill receiving bombs from on top, but you go to the top of the hill and you confront and challenge the thoughts. And by using those two questions on them, it turns out that those thoughts are mere puffs of air without any strength or power at all. Say to yourself always that I invite the positive into my life and welcome it wholeheartedly. Now, here is a card of great love for you, and this is the Ace of Gourds. Now, interestingly, the energy is also coming around here at the moment of Scorpio, Sagittarius, and Libra. Well, this is in the suit of water, and the water suit embodies the experience of relationships, the pursuit of happiness, love, fulfillment, and pleasure. But of course, you can't experience any of those unless you have also experienced their opposites. But this is a time now for you of overflowing love, emotional clarity, a deep love of yourself, giving and receiving. This is love in its purest sense, an abundance. There's a possibility of a new relationship for those of you who aren't already happily in one. And I do see around here pregnancy or birth, definitely a great degree of sexual passion. And there is emotional balance available to be used and drawn upon you for the next year here. Now, what I will say here is that which is internally felt, or going to be felt by you, will express itself externally, clearly and openly. Emotional clarity is going to result, and this is emphasized in the prominence of this gourd containing the balance and harmony of the suit of water. The giving of love will happen endlessly, and that which continually flows into you from the boundless abundance of the universe will radiate outward. Now you're going to find that you are in a state of or contact with all-embracing love. It fills you, and you can pass it on generously, lavishly to others. Now, what is your way of expressing love? Say this to yourself: an all-encompassing love fills me and my environment. Now, it seems that this is beckoning the other end of this diagonal, as we've dealt with the other cards here. So let's have a look at this. Let me have a quick look at that picture. Okay. Let's have a look and see what this has to say. Well, this is clearly a person hanging upside down, but comfortably so. Look at the interesting radiation that extends around the person's head, almost like a halo. Well, there is for me a great associate. This is speaking to me of the end of a situation or of a relationship which has become stuck, and letting go, moving on, giving up, surrendering, learning to see things in a new way, and the necessity of breaking through old behavior patterns. Nevertheless, it is a time, I think, where you will be... Do you know how a caterpillar can change into a butterfly? I think this is a process that you are going through here. Now, I think that although this might seem that there's a hopelessness by here, nevertheless wonders occur. The point has come at which you can no longer avoid seeing naked realities. There is nothing left but to face up to them and let go. Now, I do think there could also be the opportunity for you to redeem yourself in a particular situation that's happened, that's turned sour, because now you've been given the opportunity to put things right. Or you might be bringing light onto something, because I see this light around here. It's almost like there is the enlightened descending into the unenlightened. I think there's an implication here that emotions are like water and should be let flow. You can have the redemption or the repair of a situation that is related to an emotional event or to any transgressions that you might have made emotionally. I think it's also a time now where you should lose emotional ties to guilt from past event. There's a need, I think, also to give up something lesser for something which is much more fulfilling emotionally and spiritually. But your life will be going on fine. And even though it might seem to you that here or there something is tough, you're going to look back at this time and you're going to say, who was that person back there? You become, as I say, changed, transformed. That person back there was like a friend of mine, but it's not me. But it is now possible for you to recognize where you are stuck and in which areas of your life there is stagnation rather than letting that water that I speak of flow. There isn't anything to do. The mere act of perceiving your reality clearly makes this transformation possible. Now, in what areas of your life are you stuck? Are you ready to recognize and let go of your petrified, your congealed, your stuck thought and behavior patterns? Say this to yourself. I value breaking ineffective old patterns. I trust and have deep faith in the essence of who I am. I surrender to the higher path and to God's will. I let go and realize, follow and accept the will of the divine in my life, which reveals itself to me step by step. Now, what's on the opposite side of that horizontal? And it is this. Oh, good. This is interesting, isn't it? Now, this is telling me that, well, let's have a look at the image briefly and see what we can take from it. Of course, you can take whatever you want from it, naturally. But what I see here is that there is an energy surrounding this rider that propels them forward. Yet, it is the rider who focuses that powerful energy on their destination. Now, the tiger, which you can see sitting down here, well, that tiger is in a yoke and it's looking in the opposite direction. Now, tigers are dangerous, bold and aggressive, and their instincts are always at the ready, prepared for the unpredictable obstacles standing in their way, and also for the opportunities that come across their path. That is the tiger that is protecting the rider and aggressively pushes its way through to reach the finish line. So the rider can stand firm, I think, navigating and lining up with the direction of the chariot with the will or intention that the rider has set while utilizing the power of that tiger. Now, it's unmistakable to me, the energy that's coming up here is that there is a new beginning, well, not surprisingly after this metamorphosis that we were speaking of here, a change for the good, some looking inside, but there's triumph in the face of adversity and overcoming problems. And I must say this, that you're going to have success with little or no support for you. You could find that you also come to the aid of somebody else. Now, this is referring to imminent new beginnings. It can point to a journey or the start of some new phase, like a relationship, a living situation, a job, some new phase of your life. Nothing should be decided without thinking it through at the moment. Everything requires an exact examination and preparation. But once all the groundwork is done by you, the new start should not be put off unnecessarily, because everything here is pointing towards a favorable development for you. There is victory over adversity. Now, I do think that you have come through something of a difficult period, haven't you? But you've overcome it. And you are going to have the courage to act which is important because it's not enough just to have the intention to act. You need to have the courage to put that action into place. And I do see you having success over previous patterns, and if this is talking about any of these negative thoughts that you're coming, I think the process that you're going through will see that you overcome those things there. Now, there's something of a focus on self-discipline here, but definitely moving forward to higher goals. But remember, be centered and make sure that you are protected just during this month of December. Now, the oncoming change promises to lead to a positive phase in your life, so ready yourself. Put your affairs in order and examine all the possibilities, because I think you are going to leave a lot behind. Now, what area of your life will be changing? Are you ready to ring out the old and ring in the new? Seek or create for yourself a loving, secure environment. There you can plan the change or journey. I do think also that maybe your body might need some attention and activity now. Say this to yourself. I motivate others positively. I am responsible for what I cause. I accomplish things well and with ease. I am putting my life in order and preparing for the new beginning. Now let's see what there is finally at the bottom of here, and it is this, which is the 10 of Gourds. Well, the thing that strikes me immediately about here, now Gourds, you might remember, is the suit of emotions, relationships, happiness, fulfillment. And there are 10 gourds here, almost divine, and they are pouring down divine energy, love, protection, fulfillment, as a parent would do to its child on you. And they seem to be coming into a pool there, and you can see the outline of humans around as well. There is, for me, Mars in the third decan of Pisces. Now, you might think that Mars is a problem in Pisces because Mars is disruptive, and it might conflict with peaceful Pisces. But it's the third decan of Pisces that I see, which is the 9th to the 19th of March. Now, why is that important? Well, because Mars has come into Pisces, which is the last sign of the zodiac, and shows the end of winter, and Mars shows up again in the first decan of Aries, the next sign after Pisces, which is spring. And so there's a double Mars connection there, which shows that that energy of Mars has come in to push the zodiac into the spring equinox and the beginning of the sun-based tropical zodiac. But therefore, it's good. There's emotional stability here for you. Possibly a happy social unit around you. Your dream becoming a reality is something that I see here. I think that there is satisfaction, fulfillment radiating from you. This is an image of deep fulfillment here, and it testifies to the wealth of love, which is now overflowing and pouring into you. So be prepared to receive it and take part in this rich river of love. There is, again, this emotional transformation that's here for the better. Now, Mars, as I say, in the sign of Pisces, it expresses itself not by being crude, aggressive or unruly, but also providing the apparently fragile being with the decisiveness needed to bring forth into the outer world the beauty which you hold within. Now, this doesn't require any dramatic demonstration of emotion by you, because as a fulfilled person, you will simply radiate this quality, and you'll be recognized by the fruit you bear. So have no fear on the relationships front. let things develop by themselves. Everything is going to come to you at the right moment. Now, there's a fullness of love being given to you. So what does that fullness mean for you? And say this to yourself, because now more than ever it is true that life gives me all that I need to be happy. Well, what a particularly interesting spread of cards. Well done, you. Well, I told you that was going to be a very interesting deck, didn't I? And I think you'll agree with me that it was. I hope that you enjoyed the artwork as much as I did, and I hope that you enjoyed the reading as much as I did providing it to you. And if you did and you've made it this far, can you do me the great favour of, on the way out, hitting the like button and the subscribe button, because it's good for the YouTube computer. You understand what I mean? But look, it's been wonderful to see you again. I hope to see you again next month, of course, unless I see you privately in between. But until then, remember one thing, and it is this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.